Hey everybody, it's Greg again. It's another edition of Unbreakable the podcast. It is Friday, December the 20th, the first day of winter 2024. Ah, we're getting closer to Christmas, guys. 5 days away from Christmas. Can't wait. Santa's on his way. And listen, we got a big show today because I haven't been on for a couple days and we got a big show. We're going to talk Eagles. I'm going to give you my prediction for Sunday. And I have a movie classic in a week, which is very appropriate for this time of the year. So, a lot to do. Without further ado, our patron saint of this fine, but cheap podcast. There he is, Bud himself. Bud, hello. Babushka boy. There he is, with his little babushka on. Yes, doesn't he looks very uh Eastern European, doesn't he? Look at the teeth on him. Yeah, I work for food, I clean your house for food. There he is. Bud, we miss you and we love you. Our Bud. And I got a comment. Oh, Craigie, I got a comment the other day. Can you believe that? Now I know somebody actually watches or listens to this show. Oh my God. Well, here it is. It's from a person named AIAL or AI Boog, BOOG 5902. And he said, love you, G man. G man. I guess that's me, G man. Keep up the great content. If I could read it, would be good. Thank you, Boog man, or Booger, or whatever your name is. Merry Christmas to you. You know, when I hear the name Boog, I think of Boog Powell, that great baseball player for the Baltimore Orioles back in the day. And, I met Boog Powell. Everybody's met Boog Powell. If you've ever been down to Camden Yards, down to Baltimore, that great stadium, you've met Boog Powell because he was the original guy who had the ribs and everything out there, and he's still out there. You can still go down there during baseball season. I wouldn't go down there now because it's winter time and they're not playing baseball, and chances are Boog Powell's not there. But anyway, but I would go in the summertime and say hi to Boog Powell, whether you whether you know him or not. He was a great baseball player, first baseman, left-handed hitter, power, lots of power, big beefy guy. I would say he was like the Greg Luzinski. Remember Greg Luzinski, the bull for the Phillies in the 70s and 80s? He was the Greg Luzinski of the Baltimore Orioles. Boog Powell. So, yeah, good. Well, thank you, Mr. Boog, for watching or listening. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you. We'll try to keep up the great, I don't know if I would call it great content. It's sort of stinky, but it's okay. I mean, it's what it is. It is what it is. So, before we talk about Eagles, I'll get my eyes fixed on one day. Yes, finally. What a nice Christmas present, huh? Finally going to be able to see the gift of sight. And, like I told you, well, they're taking the cataracts out. They're sucking it out there. Sucking it out. And they're also implanting a lens, right eye first. Right eye Monday, left eye January. Sucking out the cataract and then implanting this little lens. They're taking out the old lens and putting in the new lens. So I could finally see. I haven't been able to see far away since I was a kid. And I'll be able to see. Oh, and isn't it amazing? Think about it. Maybe you grew up in my era, like in the 60s or so, and this is all like science fiction to me. Like, that they could actually take the lens out of your eye, like a cyborg or something, and put in a new lens. and instantaneously you see, that to me is like crazy, crazy talk, But apparently it's going to happen, so it should be good. So thank God for that, huh? So that's a little pre-Christmas thing for me. Christmas is sort of well, Christmas is always Christmas. Let's face it, it's Christmas is the king of holiday. It is. I mean, not only is it the day Jesus was born, and we always have to remember that that's what Christmas is, but it's the major holiday. It's when people come home from the college or from overseas or something, and people gather for Christmas, and there's presents, and there's lights, and there's the tree, and there's Christmas music, and all sorts of stuff. So Christmas is the big one. It's the big one. So, and speaking of which, all right. Let's do the classic movie of the week, huh? Huh? Let's do it before we talk Eagles. And this is a very appropriate movie. In fact, it's called A Christmas Movie, A Christmas Story. It's not called a Christmas movie. I'm 130 years old and I'm forgetting. A Christmas Story. It stars Peter Billingsley as Ralphie Parker. That that story, that movie. They play it like 24 hours a day for like Christmas Eve and Christmas Day on TNT, TBS. It's all over the place. But this movie, I'm going to give you some little trivia about this movie. You've seen it. It's about this little kid who wants a BB gun, Red Ryder rifle for his Christmas. We all did that when we were kids. We all had something special we wanted for Christmas, right? A new bike, or a baseball bat, or whatever, right? We all wanted something special for Christmas, and we all were dreamed about that day, Christmas morning, under the tree, with all the Christmas music playing, and the scent of the pine tree there, and the twinkling lights, and the wrapping paper flying around all over the place, right? And there you have it, what you've always wanted, right there in front of you, a baseball bat or a baseball glove, whatever, right? So Ralphie Parker wants a BB gun, and it's about the days leading up to Christmas and Christmas Day, and it's all about his family. And what a great movie it came out in 1983, and it got when it first came out, A Christmas Story, it got really good reviews, but not too many people went to see it. So what happened? It came out November 18th, 1983, right before Thanksgiving. And it was just one of these movies that it didn't attract a lot of attention. But as the years went by, and it was on cable TV, as they called it back in the day, and they came out on DVD, so it got almost like a cult following, People, word of mouth. I remember back when I was a social worker, one of my coworkers told me about A Christmas Story. She was a secretary in the office, in the business office. Said, "Have you seen this movie?" I said, "This was about 88, early 90s, maybe." And I said, "What?" And she said, "It's called A Christmas Story, and it's about this little kid growing up back in the 1930s, 1940s, and all he wants for Christmas is his BB gun." And I said, "Oh, I haven't seen it." So that's how word of mouth got around, And that's how I learned about it too. So 1983, uh, based on a short story called In God We Trust by a humorist named Gene Shepard. Apparently, this Gene Shepard guy, he wrote a lot of stories. He did He had a radio show. He was you know what? He was equivalent to, I don't know if anybody out there is like the Philadelphia area. I'm sure you are. And remember Big Daddy Graham used to have a radio program on WIP overnights for many, many years. Big Daddy Graham. Well, this Gene Shepherd was sort of like Big Daddy Graham. He had all kinds of stories. And in fact, I remember Big Daddy, I used to listen to him. He used to say he used to love Gene Shepherd. He met Gene Shepherd. And so they turned his stories into a movie. And actually, a lot of the stories from some of his other stories were in A Christmas Story. The thing about the Ralphie and the tongue, yeah, the guy getting his tongue getting his tongue stuck to the light pole, that was in another short story. And then they had other parts of the story, Fraligi, the lamplight, you know. You know what? I gotta tell you this. Listen to this now. I hope you're on the edge of your seat for this. Darren McGavin played the old man, and he has to be my favorite character out of A Christmas Story. Because he's like, Darren McGavin was like everybody's old man, everybody's dad, you know? He was just this loving father, but he would also be try to go and fix the heater by himself and cursing and swearing and fan of the Chicago Bears. And this guy, he was like everybody's father. Well, Darren McGavin, if you remember Darren McGavin, he was the night in the Night Stalker. Remember the Night Stalker about the vampires and stuff? But this movie, this role, made Darren McGavin. He is always famous for this role in A Christmas Story. And guess what? Before they hired Darren McGavin to play the role of the old man, they were considering Jack Nicholson to play the old man. Can you believe that? I can't picture anybody but Darren McGavin playing the old man. Can you? I can't. Not, you know, it's a defining role. I don't think Jack Nicholson would have been good at it. I think Jack Nicholson, because of just his name, would have dominated the movie. And it's not about the old man. The old man was just a side character, a really good character, but a side character. The movie really is about Ralphie. He's the central character. So I don't, Jack Nicholson just would have overshadowed everybody. So now, I'm glad they didn't hire him. But the rest of the cast, you know, Flick and Scott Farkas, the villain. In fact, Scott Farkas was named one of the major Christmas villains of all time, right up there with the Grinch. And he got a kick out of that. Do you know the guy who played Scott Farkas actually sued Warner Brothers because there was a glitch in his contract that this guy, his last name is Ward, Zach Ward, that he was left out of the merchandising rights. So anything like figurines or toy dolls, Ralphie dolls, Scott Farkas dolls, you should get a cut out of it, you know? And he was left out in the cold. So after he saw a lot of this merchandise coming out, A Christmas Story game, A Christmas Story this, that, he got pissed. And he said, you know, I'm suing those. You know, I don't want to use the word. There could be kids listening. And he did. And they settled out of court. They settled out of court. So hopefully he got a cut in, you know. But anyway, but that's what made The Christmas Story so great. All these memorable characters. The mother, so sweet, you know. The little brother who ate like a pig at the table, right? And I remember this. Mothers used to dress you up like layers and layers of clothes, all these thick jackets to the point where you couldn't move. You know. Now a lot of The Christmas Story was based on this Gene Shepherd's life. It was a sort of an autobiographical movie. In fact, the teacher, Miss Shields, that was the name of Gene Shepard's real second grade teacher. But in real life, see, you take liberties with movies and writing and things, because in real life, the character of Ralphie, Gene Shepard, would have been older, than, but parts of it did come out of his life. Now, the other interesting thing was this movie was supposedly set in Northeast Indiana around 1939, 1940. I mean, you could tell by the clothes, the cars, a lot of cool stuff in the movie. But there were aspects of the movie, like different songs were in the movie that weren't written until the 1950s. So, I mean, it's a movie. What the hell, right? So you take liberties. It's called poetic justice. You take liberties with stuff like that, But basically, the movie is probably set around 1940-ish. Now, interestingly enough, they don't mention the war at all in the movie. But that's kind of World War II. That's kind of the time frame. Now, filming the movie, a lot of the movie was filmed on location in Indiana. And Hammond, in Indiana, was where the writer, Gene Shepard, grew up. So the fictional town was based on Hammond, Indiana. Now, a lot of the places are still there. The house, Ralphie's house, still there. You go visit it. The Chinese restaurant where they end up eating at the end of the day, at the end of the movie, that's there. Cleveland Street, they call it. And that's where Ralphie lived, on Cleveland Street. But the department store, remember the department store where we went to visit Santa? The real store was called Higbee's, and it was there for a long time. And that was actually filmed in the department store, but it's no longer there. They closed it down. But that slide, that slide at the end where Santa did with his boot and pushed the kids down the slide, and they would slide down, and that was actually there for a long time. Kids could actually go down that slide. It's just kind of cool, I think, Now, do you remember the Christmas parade in the movie? It was like the first part of the movie, where they had the parade, and then later on in the movie, the parents took Ralphie and his little brother to see the Christmas parade. And then that's when Ralphie went into the department store and saw Santa and said to Santa, "I want a BB gun." And that's when the line, "You'll shoot your eye out, kid. You'll shoot your eye out." That's the famous line of that movie. "You'll shoot your eye out." Well, anyway, that parade was actually filmed at 3:00 in the morning. Why? Because, again, the movie was set, the setting is like 1939, 1940. Well, in the background, there are buildings that weren't built in 1939 and 1940, built later on. So they filmed in that parade outdoors, but they had to do it in the middle of the night. They closed down all the streets. They filmed the parade. You don't see all the modern buildings behind everything, it's dark, whatever. So, and there's a lot of interesting aspects to that movie. Gene Shepard actually became a pain in the ass. Nobody wants to be a pain in the ass. No, I don't want to be. You don't want to be a pain in the ass. He was a brilliant writer. He did like countless short stories. He did a couple of novels. But he was a real pain in the ass, because when they made the movie, the director and producer, Bob Clark, his name was, and they didn't get along. Bob Clark and Gene Shepard didn't get along. In fact, to the point, Gene Shepard wanted everything perfect, like as it was in his life. "Oh, no, we didn't do this. When I was in second grade, We no. But you know, again, you take poetic license, right? It may not be perfect, but it's a movie, damn it. It's a movie. It's not real life. Well, it got so bad that the director had Gene Shepard, the guy who wrote the freaking book, barred from the movie set. Can you believe that? Right, Gene? And actually, a lot of these guys who wrote the movie, produced the movie, were in the movie. Do you remember when the old man, Darren McGavin, got the Legoland? It was a major award, fragile on the crate. Well, the old man was so proud of his Legoland that he went outside to see what it looked like outside from across the street. And the neighbor who comes up to him and says, "What's that, Parker? What's that?" "Well, it's a major award. Can't you see it's a major award?" The neighbor, that guy is Bob Clark. That is the director of the movie. He had to get a little part of the movie. And one of Santa's helpers there was actually Gene Shepard. Gene Shepard, the guy who wrote the play, when he wasn't barred from the set, you know. There were some sequels later on. Christmas Story, Christmas came out in 2022, direct to HBO Max. A lot of the original cast were in the movie, although Darren McGavin had passed away. He wasn't in the movie. So there were some sequels, you know, and Peter Billingsley is still around. In fact, what he does now, he'll go and he'll show up like at different movie theaters. Let's say your local movie theater is showing A Christmas Story, and all of a sudden out walks Peter Billingsley, the original Ralphie, and he's there, and he'll take questions and answers, Q&A session, which is kind of cool. So, you know, he really didn't go on to do much in his movie career, his acting career. He sort of lived off this movie, you know. But good for him. Good for him. It was an iconic role, an iconic movie. And if you ask a lot of people now, they will say that was their favorite Christmas movie ever. And a lot of Christmas lists, you got your favorite Christmas movies. You got your Miracle on 34th Street. You've got your Scrooge. You've got your Christmas Vacation, right? All these great Christmas movies. Many, many times, A Christmas Story is on the top of that list. That's how well loved this movie is. So, my final word on A Christmas Story. I love it. And you know what? I'll probably watch it at least once come Christmas Eve, because you're flicking around the thing and there's a Christmas, you got it. It's one of those movies you got to stop and watch. Even though you know word for word, you know what's going to happen, you got to stop and watch. The cool thing about it is, because it is a Christmas movie, it's only around once a year, unless you own it. And so it's kind of fresh. You know, every year it's fresh, because you haven't seen it for like a year. So it's just a cool movie that's gonna live forever, you know? A Christmas Story. 1983. Eagles. All right, let's talk about the Eagles. I'm all geared up. Go Birds. There you go, go Birds. Well, you know, here's the thing. The Eagles play in Washington, 1 o'clock on Sunday. And it's true, Washington needs the game because they're fighting to get into the freaking playoffs. They're not in. Eagles are in. Eagles need to win. If they win, they clinch the NFC East, which automatically gives them a home game and one of the top 4 seeds in the playoffs. So, yeah, I guess you could say Washington needs to gain more, but Eagles are on such a roll. They've won 10 games in a row. Who's going to stop them? I was at the game when Washington was here in Philadelphia to play the Eagles. Me and my brother Pat were there. And it was a close game up until the second half. And then the Eagles, what they usually do, they just wore the Commanders down. Saquon Barkley, they pretty much held him in tow in the first half. He just wore the Commanders down in the second half. Wore them down. So I anticipate the same thing happen. I mean, I can't see why not. It's true. Jalen Daniels is going to be a handful, but the Eagles, with their defense being so good nowadays, they really contained Jalen Daniels, and they made him throw the ball more than he wanted to. And you know what? They really held down Terry McLaurin, their excellent wide receiver. Eagles held him down. I think he only had 1 or 2 catches that night. That's key, because if you can hold McLaurin down, you have a pretty good chance of holding the Washington offense down. I mean, Brian Anderson is going to get his yards on the ground. Zach Ertz, our old friend, he's going to get his catches. But as long as you can hold McLaurin down and don't let Jalen Daniels break out in the pocket and run like crazy, Eagles have a really good chance of winning. And I think they are going to win. I do think they're going to win. It's going to be cold. All these East Coast games Sunday, it's going to be cold. Now, here's the thing. If you're a betting man, the cold doesn't have that big of an influence on play. Yeah, the ball might be a little harder. You might have some more turnovers. The ball will be slick. It'll be, hard to handle. But really, it's the wind. The wind is the thing that will kind of keep scoring down, because it's hard to pass in the wind. It's hard to kick in the wind. So check the games, check the weather. If you see that it's a little on the breezy side Sunday, especially on the East Coast, then you might want to look to the under as far as your total for the game is concerned. Otherwise, it's going to be a really cold day. I mean, the Eagles are playing down in Washington. Maybe a little warmer down there than would be up here in Philly. But actually, you got the LA Rams coming out from the West Coast. They play kind of indoors, playing at the Meadowlands, playing the Jets. Now, the Rams should beat them anyway, but how are the Rams going to play in the freezing cold? I think the high is going to be like 29 degrees. So it could matter. The thing about the Eagles is they have a solid running game behind Barkley, Gainwell, Jalen Hurts takes off. He can run. That's what you got to have. If you're a team in the Northeast in the NFL, got to have a solid running game, got to have a good defense. Chances are you'll go places in the playoffs. Just because of the weather can be so brutal this time of the year. And the playoffs tend to be lower scoring games anyway. Close games, lower scoring games. So the Eagles are built the right way. Yeah, you get a lot of these people say, they got to throw the ball. They got to score 42 points. Blah, blah, blah. When it comes to the playoffs, getting to the Super Bowl, a great defense and a sound running game, you can't go wrong, right? I know the game has changed compared to what it used to be. I understand all that. But those are things that will never go out of style. A great defense and a good running game, too. So I think the Eagles are going to win on Sunday. I think it's going to be something like 24-17, maybe. I'm just saying, just to throw a score out there. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think the Eagles will win. So we'll see what happens, huh? Hey, the Phillies scored or the Phillies signed finally signed a free agent last night. Max Kepler. Max Kepler. Sounds like somebody you go to, like Max Kepler will do your accounting, will do your taxes this year. Now, Max Kepler, I don't know. He used to play for the Twins. He used to be a good hitter. It's not what he used to be. And that's what the Phillies are after these days. They're bargain hunters. They're like told you before. The Phillies, they're like at yard sales. Dave Dombrowski is like a yard sale guy. He goes from one yard sale to the other all day on Saturday, looking for bargains. Over there, over there, over there, at that picnic table there. That's where you have your broken down used relievers. Go and pick one up over there. Over there. You see over there, half price. You're 50% off backup catchers. Go over there and get some money. Anyway, but this Max Kepler guy, he's sort of Austin Hayes. You know who they released? Austin Hayes. They thought, oh, we got Austin Hayes from the Orioles last year at the trade deadline. He's really going to be the difference. No, 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 no. He wasn't. He was a flop. Max Kepler's kind of the same guy, you know? Let's hope the Phillies do a little bit more than Max freaking Kepler, you know? I mean, come on, Dave Dombrowski. Jesus. So that's that. And then you got the Sixers. Finally got their precious little arena, huh? Babies. So it was approved. Looks like they're aiming for fall of 2031 as the opening. And Lord willing, if I'll be around, huh? I don't know. To me, the team sucks. And hopefully they're not going to suck forever. By 2031, you would hope the 76ers are a little better, right? I'm just saying. But they got what they wanted. They're going to be out of the Wells Fargo Center. Let them go. Let them go. Let them go. I'm a fan, but I'm not a fan. Put it this way, I'm a bigger fan of the Birds and the Phillies than I am of the freaking 76ers. The babies, they got to have their own arena. I'm going to leave and go to Jersey if I don't have my arena. Katie girl, Merry Christmas, Katie girl. Come in and say hello to everybody. Oh, she left. What a diva, huh? What a diva. Anyway, so the Sixers got their arena. God bless them. That the plan is down in South Philadelphia. I like it being South Philly because you got all the stadiums in one spot. You got the Phillies ballpark across the street, the Eagles, Lincoln Financial Field. You got the Wells Fargo Center where the Flyers and the Sixers play. It's all there. And they're planning on building up. Yeah, they should have did it before, I know. But they're planning on building up around the complex, which they need to do. They need to have more restaurants. They need to have more things to do down in South Philadelphia. So people could have fun stuff to do before and after the games. And accordingly, apparently between the Phillies and Comcast, they are planning to build down there an amphitheater for concerts, hotel, more restaurants. So I think it's going to be a nice place in a few years. But you know what? Sixers had to have their arena. Okay, go. So that's happening, huh? So there's a lot on the agenda. But today's the day, right? Today is the day where everybody's getting out of town, getting out of Dodge. They say today is like going to be one of the most traveled days in the year. People are leaving for the weekend, for the holidays. You know what? I hate Christmas. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, December 25th is December 25th. But I always hated when Christmas fell on a Wednesday, you know, because the first 2 days of the week, Monday and Tuesday, you don't feel like working. You feels like working. Christmas is it, right? Christmas Eve, Christmas. And then the 2 days after, who feels like working? You know, you want to enjoy your Christmas there. You're tired from the Christmas parties and everything. You just want to relax. So if you have off between the holidays, if you took the week off next week, you were smart because nobody's it's like to thing, right? But that's the price of having Christmas on a Wednesday. It sucks, but what are you gonna do, right? It is what it is. All right, everybody. Well, peace and love to everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Um, I'll probably be back tomorrow. Hey, we got Penn State on tomorrow, but SMU, 12 o'clock. It's a whiteout, Penn State. There she is. Hello, Katie girl. Merry Christmas. And there she is. Get my big head out of the way. There she is. Katie girl. And we're going to watch Penn State. We're going to root them on. Go the Lions. And hopefully we'll have a good weekend. Eagles, Sunday Eagles, go Eagles. And I'll probably be back tomorrow. And then I've got other fish to fry on Monday. But then I'll be back sooner or later, probably after Christmas. You don't want to hear from me. Who the hell wants to sit there and watch me or listen to me when you got Christmas stuff to do, right? Yeah. So I'll be back tomorrow, but then I'll be back after the holiday, right? And we'll talk more crap like we usually talk. Okay, everybody. Hey, if I had one prop bet to play on Sunday, along with Eagles winning, you know what? I would say Saquon Barkley over in his yards because he didn't really get that many yards last Sunday, and he sort of rested him. He was hurt there at the end. But he still chased that record. I think he has to average like 139 yards for the last 3 games in order to get the record. He's got a shot at it. And Washington, my friends, is one of the weaker defenses in the league against the rush. Keep that in mind, huh? Saquon Barkley over his number on Sunday. That's my favorite prop in the week. All right, everybody, say goodbye, Katie. There she is. Goodbye, Katie. Goodbye, Katie. Okay, peace and love, everybody. Merry Christmas. Have fun. Talk to you soon. Bye.